You're polyamorous, so that means you have like zero standards, right? I think one of the most common stereotypes about polyamorous and generally non-monogamous people is that we're not picky whatsoever, and because we can, in theory, date anyone, we therefore obviously do. So here's how polyamory has actually made me more picky, not less. It's quite simple, really. I'm not willing to compromise the health of the people I care about, aka the polycule, by acting without discernment, i.e. by bringing people into our orbit who may cause harm or just generally have quite toxic tendencies. But most importantly, when it comes to physical health, I'm not willing to risk people's sexual health by sleeping with someone who's not willing to talk about testing and barriers. And you might think, well, that should just be common sense and that should be something that applies to everyone, that shouldn't be a polyamorous thing. And I agree. In an ideal world, I would have always been able to stand up for myself, and I would have always been able to say no to people who were willing to risk my health for their short-term enjoyment. But, as I've said many times before, I'm a recovering people pleaser. And if you hadn't noticed, I'm also a woman. Yes, I am queer, but that does mean I have slept with my fair share of cis men. We all know it shouldn't, but it does create a power dynamic. So historically, it's been really hard for me to stand up for myself and to say, no, we will be using condoms, or I'm not sleeping with you. And I need you to get tested before XYZ happens, or I need to see recent test results. There are many times when I sort of relented or was coerced into situations that realistically I wasn't 100% comfortable with. And while that shouldn't have happened in the first place, I know all too well that that is the standard for many, many women. But the difference in polyamory is that it's no longer just about yourself. The thing is, if you don't stand up for yourself in those situations, you put your loved one's health at risk. And somehow I find it a lot easier to defend my loved one's health than mine. It's a lot easier for me to stand firm and go, well, this isn't happening if you're not willing to respect my sexual health boundaries. If other people are put at risk, it's a lot easier to decline something. If doing that thing would mean that later on you have to explain yourself to your other partners and go, yeah, so I didn't say anything when he said he didn't like condoms and I just went along with it. It's not fair. It's not fair on your partners to have to deal with the ramifications of you not feeling like you can speak up. And I know as a crutch, I'm using other people as a crutch to help me stand up for what is right. But I firmly believe that the same way a crutch is generally a temporary aid to help in your recovery, and over time you will be able to walk without them again. So at the moment, I need other people in my life as the motivation for me to be able to go and say, we can do it safely, we can minimise risk, or I'm going to have to walk away. Nice to meet you. And what this does is it means I'm practicing. And over time, I firmly believe that even if there was no one else in my life, there was no one put at risk, and if it was only me, myself and I who would have to deal with the consequences of my own actions, I would then be able to still stand up for myself because of the practice I've had. How do you feel about learning to stand up for yourself when it comes to your sexual health? Is it something that's always been easy for you? Does it depend on who else you're with? I would be very curious to know.